Wait, I forgot the dates. I forgot the name. Period 7, from 1890 to 1920. I'm trying to find the period. Go. In 1890, Navy Captain Alfred Mahan wrote The Influence of Sea Power Upon History, in which he argued that a strong navy was crucial to a country's ambitions of securing foreign markets and becoming a world power. As a consequence, by 1900, the United States had the third largest navy in the world.
In addition to being a great naval power, the American public opinion was being swept by a growing wave of jingoism, which is an intense form of nationalism calling for an aggressive foreign policy.
That parallel park, though. Do you know anything about the open door policy in China?
No. Tell me.
We do! All nations should have equal trading privileges in China!
Is that what the open door policy is?
Yes! Roosevelt's Big Stick Policy.
Speak softly and carry a big stick. Roosevelt attempted to build the reputation of the U.S. as a world power. Roosevelt saw his big stick policy as a way to promote peaceful relations within international disputes, such as the conflicts between France and Germany and the Second Annual International Peace Conference.
As a part of his Big Stick Policy, the United States attempted to create a canal that connected the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans.
The Monroe Doctrine was very encompassing in its ability to control the actions of the United States. Because of this, Roosevelt declared the Roosevelt Corollary to sort of consolidate the actions in which the Monroe Doctrine had precedence over.
Okay, you can go.
Conflicts between the United States and East Asia grew in the 1900s. Japanese Americans were segregated into schools, and Japan felt this was an insult to them. As a part of the Gentleman's Agreement, Roosevelt felt that the Gentleman's Agreement would end this conflict. If Japan decided to agree to restricting the immigration of Japanese immigrants into America, the United States would force California to repeal its discriminatory laws.
Japan and the United States pledged mutual respect in the Root-Takahira Agreement.
Dollar diplomacy was a policy made of promoting American businesses abroad. Woodrow Wilson's policy of New Freedom was a moral approach to moral affairs as he opposed the Big Stick Policy, New Imperialism, and the dollar diplomacy. Wilson sent troops to Nicaragua, Haiti, and the Dominican Republic to control the region and protect the Panama Canal. This was a part of his military intervention policy.
Australian ballots were secret ballots first required in Massachusetts.
The Progressive Era was a time period in which they wanted to build on the existing society, making moderate changes and social improvements through government action.
The urban middle class was a key segment of the economy whose strength came from rural America.
Howdy. Pragmatism was a belief that stressed people's practical approach to morals. Muckrakers were writers specializing in scandalous realities of politics.
The social gospel was an important element in Protestant Christians' response to the problem of urban poverty.
Go. The direct primary was a system for bypassing politicians and placing the nominating process in the hands of the voters. There was reform that broke the power of city bosses by putting public utilities into the hands of the city. Prohibition was a way to clean up morals and politics and was promoted by rural reformers. Florence Kelly fought for better schools, juvenile courts, liberalized divorce laws, and safer tenements. Consumers League was an organization that promoted the passage of state laws to protect women from long working hours. You poor, poor girl. The Triangle Shirtwaist Factory went up in flames, killing many women.
It sparked safety reforms. Roosevelt's Square Deal tried to mediate labor disputes by favoring neither business nor labor. The Sherman Antitrust Act was greatly enforced under Roosevelt for trust busting.
The jungle caused the passage of the Pure Food and Drug Act and also the Meat Inspection Act.
Taft prosecuted twice the number of antitrust cases than Roosevelt.
Under Taft, the Payne-Aldrich tariff raised tax on imports. Eugene Debs adopted socialism while jailed for the Pullman strike. He was the 1912 Socialist Party nominee. The Socialist Party platform called for more radical platform policies than the progressives and favored more public ownership.
Under the Progressive Program, Wilson called for tariff reduction and banking reform as well as business regulation.
The Plessy versus Ferguson case declared that facilities are separate but equal.
Booker T. Washington believed blacks needed education in order to thrive. Du Bois demanded that political and social rights were a prerequisite for economic independence. The Great Migration was a movement of African Americans to the North and was caused by deteriorating race relations, destruction of cotton crops, and job opportunities in the North.
The 19th Amendment guaranteed women's right to vote in all elections at local, state, and national levels.
Alice Paul, the leader of the National Women's Party, focused on gaining support from Congress for the 19th Amendment.
The United States at the beginning of World War I supported neutrality.
The Lusitania was a British passenger liner that was sunk by Germans in 1915.
Britain commanded the war news that was cabled daily to the United States newspapers and magazines through British war propaganda.
With the Zimmermann telegram, this communication to Mexico from Germany proposed that Mexico ally itself with Germany in return of aid to help recover lost territories, aroused the U.S. nationalist anger.
President Wilson asked Congress to recognize the state of war existed between Germany and the United States in 1917 as his declaration of war.
The Espionage and Sedition Acts provided imprisonment for persons who tried to incite rebellion in the armed forces and prohibited any disloyal or abusive remarks about U.S. government. The 14 points were Wilson's plan of a detailed list of war aims presented to Congress designed to address the causes of World War I and prevent another world war.
The Treaty of Versailles was the peace conference that followed the armistice outside of the Palais of Versailles in Paris. The Big Four were David Lloyd George of Great Britain, Georges Clemenceau of France, Vittorio Orlando of Italy, and Woodrow Wilson of the United States.
The Red Scare was an anti-communist hysteria. Anti-radical fears fueled xenophobia.
Migration of African Americans to northern cities during a war increased racial tensions and caused race riots.